We had agreed to meet our parents during the Mid-Autumn Festival, but on the night before we left, our boyfriend missed the appointment again. My cousin, who has always been at odds with me, is being sarcastic. We've been talking for 5 years and haven't brought you home, maybe they didn't take you seriously at all. If I had to say it, this woman shouldn't look up to herself too much. Don't let someone sleep for nothing and think she has status. I didn't want to talk to her and went out for some fresh air, but suddenly I noticed that the car parked in front of my neighbor looked particularly familiar. My heartbeat missed a beat. Could it be a surprise for my boyfriend? Just as I was about to call him, my cousin pointed to the car and clicked twice. Yi Yuetel still has the ability, and the boyfriend she brought back is tall and handsome. In your lifetime, you still lost to her. My gaze fell on the license plate, and with a pause of my finger, I dialed the hidden short number that had been grayed out for a long time. Bring someone here and smash the car. My cousin widened her eyes. Are you crazy? With Jiang Yi spoiling you, dare you smash someone else's car in broad daylight? She pointed to the door and whispered. They are meeting with their parents to discuss the engagement. No matter how jealous you are, don't embarrass yourself, okay? Saying that, you're about to take me home. But my feet seemed to be nailed to the ground, motionless. Looking at the scene inside like self-torture. Song Sion, who was supposed to work overtime at the company, appeared at Yi Yuetel's house at this moment. My aloof boyfriend, who has always been aloof from people thousands of miles away, is affectionately embracing her waist. His gaze was gentle and focused that I had never experienced before. My gaze fell on their interlocked hands, and I suppressed the sourness that surged in my heart, sending a message to Song Sion. Where are you now? Seeing the screen light up, Song Sion's brow instinctively furrowed. Is there something? I am persistent in repeating. Where are you now? Song Sion paused for a moment, his gaze falling on Yi Yuetel, and his expression involuntarily softened. Working overtime at the company, don't bother me if you have nothing to do. I'm very busy. Watching him lie without changing his face, I clenched my phone tightly. Got it. After being together for 5 years, countless Mid-Autumn Festival, National Day, and Spring Festival occasions, he would refuse to meet with my parents for various reasons. Even though I told him that I was planning to discuss our marriage with my parents during this Mid-Autumn Festival, he still let me go home alone under the pretext of working overtime at the company. Did the company work overtime and add it to Yi Yuetel's house? Also added her boyfriend? Picking up a brick, I took a deep breath and looked at my cousin. Didn't you want to see my boyfriend? I'll see you soon. Click. When the car window shattered, a sharp alarm sounded throughout the community. The commotion outside finally awakened the people inside. My cousin looked at me and shook her head. You're really crazy. Even if your boyfriend can't compare to him, you can't throw fire on innocent people. I ignored her and my gaze fell on Song Sion, whose face had slightly changed. What reason does he need to use this time? In silence, Yi Yuetel suddenly stepped forward and smiled, holding my hand. Jingyi, you came just in time. Sion and I were talking about you before. We are in the same company and we are all acquaintances. You have to be the bridesmaid when we get married. I shook off Yi Yuetel's hand and watched Song Sion repeat those 2 words. Getting married. Seeing Yi Yuetel's embarrassed face, Song Sion finally agreed to move and walked up to me in a low voice. Chapter 2. Things are not as you think, can't you cooperate a bit? Yi Yuetel nodded quickly and showed me the chat records. My family is pushing for marriage very hard, so I came up with a way to make Sion pretend to be my boyfriend to deal with the family. Jing'ai, don't overthink it. Seeing me staring at the 520 transfer in the chat record, Yi Yuetel's face turned red and she secretly glanced at Song Sion and whispered. This is the remuneration for asking Sion to act. She spoke with each thought, her intimate tone piercing into my ear like a needle. Song Sion furrowed his brow tightly and his tone towards me was full of reproach. I've explained it to you now, can you please stop messing around? I was almost laughed at with confidence by Song Sion. My boyfriend didn't meet my parents with me, but instead pretended to be a couple and got engaged to another girl. Can't I make a fuss? Song Sion's face darkened slightly and his tone was disappointed. Yuetel's parents always urge her to find a boyfriend. Sometimes she's so scared that she can't even answer the phone at home and she has to face the pressure of relatives when she gets home. Don't you even have this little sympathy? Hearing the heartache in his words, my heart trembled suddenly. Isn't what he said exactly what I've experienced in recent years? After falling in love, my parents have only seen his photo to this day. He doesn't even want to play a video with my parents. My relatives also know that I have a boyfriend whom I haven't seen in person for 5 years. Their private words are even more unpleasant to listen to than their cousins. I bear 10 or 100 times more pressure than Yi Yuetel. Song Sion knows all of this. But he still let me face these rumors alone, ignoring the grievances I have suffered over the past 5 years. His sympathy and heartache were given to another woman. Just as they were about to break up, Yi Yuetel's mother heard the commotion and went out. Why is there a commotion? She turned her gaze around us, frowned and spoke. Yu Tao, your boyfriend. Yi Yuetao quickly interrupted. Mom, it's not Cyan's fault for this. She gave me a troubled look. Jingyi has been fond of Cyan for a long time, so she couldn't accept the reality of smashing the car when she found out we were engaged. Her tone is gentle, but her voice is not small. The neighbors who came out to watch the excitement suddenly changed their eyes when they looked at me. Shen Jingyi looked great when she was a child, how could she be a mistress? It's shameless to smash someone's car if you can't get their boyfriend. No wonder we talked for 5 years and didn't dare to bring it home. It turns out it's not her boyfriend at all. Upon hearing the mocking curses directed at me, Song Cyan furrowed her brows slightly. But he didn't say anything and assumed this statement. His silence, like a bucket of ice water, poured a bone-chilling chill all over me. Yi Yuetao spoke softly and generously. Everyone is a neighbor, let's forget about this. Jingyi, you don't need to compensate for the money you smashed the car. Everyone nodded and praised you for her good heart. My cousin couldn't help but give me a push. Look at how magnanimous they are, apologize quickly, don't embarrass yourself here. Seeing the hidden pride of Yi Yuetao, my emotions were reignited. Looking at Song Cyan, I said calmly. Song Cyan, come on, am I really a mistress? Chapter 8. Song Cyan was about to speak when he saw my red eyes, which were holding back tears. In all these years, I have never shed a tear in front of him. He shook his expression for a moment and turned his head away. Don't make a fuss, go back and talk about something. This ambiguous answer made everyone somewhat skeptical. My cousin reached out her hand. You said you were together for 5 years, then take out your phone and let's see if it's true. I handed over my phone directly, and my cousin flipped through it, her face becoming even more strange. You said you've been talking for 5 years, why haven't you even taken a group photo on your social media? She swiped her fingers and made a clicking sound in her mouth. Why are you the only one talking in this chat record? Whose boyfriend's so cold? I looked at the record, where Song Cyan occasionally replied with a or got it in my long text, feeling like a heavy stone was weighing on my heart. He has always had a cold personality. When we are together, I always say 10 words and he responds with 1. He doesn't like taking photos. When I go out to play, I occasionally sneak a group photo and he asks me to delete it. I have long been accustomed to this way of getting along, and it was not until this moment that I realized the imbalance in this relationship. Yi Yuetao also took out her phone and shyly showed it to everyone. We haven't been together for long, and there aren't many chat records. Although she said that, as soon as she entered, she saw fresh and hot official promotional photos on her social media. In the photo, Song Cyan awkwardly poses and compares herself with her. The last photo is a snapshot of him slightly bowing his head and Yi Yuetao kissing him. My mind buzzed and I turned my head stiffly. Do we need to do this step in acting? In the suffocating silence, I blinked my sour eyes and forced my tears back. Yi Yuetao and I have never dealt with each other since we were young. Since I started school, I have been the child of someone else in the mouths of my relatives and neighbors. I know that my cousin and Yi Yuetao don't like me. At the beginning of my teenage romance, Yi Yuetao stole my boyfriend twice. I decided to focus on my studies and went to a university in the capital. It has been 5 years since I started dating Song Cyan on campus. When I saw that the new intern in the company was Yi Yuetao, I became wary and talked to Song Cyan about the past. He clearly promised me that he would keep a distance from Yi Yuetao. I also know the harm that Yi Yuetao has caused me in the past. But he still chose to stand on her side. I don't even know when they hooked up behind my back. 2 familiar figures suddenly emerged from the crowded crowd. It's my parents. If you don't mind the big deal, grab my dad and spit. Old Song, you have to persuade your daughter well. You're such a good college student, how can you face down and become a mistress? Yeah, even if you're just a mistress, it's shameless to dare to come knocking on your door. My dad's face turned red and he shouted at the person. You fart, my daughter is not a mistress. He was already in poor health, and was so stimulated that he covered his chest and collapsed softly. My eyes were about to crack, so I pounced forward. Dad! My mom was flustered and scared to death. Your dad has had another heart attack. Can't you be more sensible? Do you have to make him so angry? Chapter 4. My throat suddenly choked up, and my heart was filled with regret. Regret wasting 5 years on someone like Song Cyan, regret not being discerning, and let things become the situation there today. My mom looked around and saw that a road was being built nearby, and it would take an hour for an ambulance to arrive. She looked at the only car in the yard and humbly begged Song Cyan. Young man, it's my daughter's fault. Life is important, can you take her father to the hospital first? Song Cyan's footsteps moved, and Yi Yuetao suddenly stopped him and whispered in front of him. Cyan, now everyone suspects that you and Jingyi are not innocent. If you take her father to the hospital again, won't that be even more difficult to explain? She pouted at her parents. My parents are still watching. If they are not satisfied with your son-in-law, they will definitely force us to break up, and then I will have to go on a blind date again. Song Cyan hesitated and looked at me. It's also quite fast to call an ambulance, or you can ask someone if they have a car at home. I can't believe what I heard. Song Cyan is so cold-blooded and cold-hearted. My mother's eyes immediately turned red, so anxious that tears were almost coming out. She pulled me over and said sternly, "Apologize." I said I will never be a mistress again in the future. I gritted my teeth and stubbornly said, "Mom, I'm not a mistress." My mother ignored me and pulled me to kneel down. "You dead child, why are you still stubborn? You tell, your Uncle Song has watched you grow up since childhood. I apologize on behalf of Jingy. Can you take him to the hospital?" Yi Wetel pressed the corners of her mouth and said helplessly, "Jingy, look at how angry you are with your uncle. Hey, as girls, we still need to be more careful in our behavior." I stared at Yi Wetel and spoke in a deep voice. "I'll say it again, I'm not a mistress." Pa. My mom slapped me in the face and shouted, "How much longer do you have to be stubborn? Has your father lost his life? I really wish I hadn't given birth to you." She doesn't have much strength, but I feel like my soul has been shattered, stuttering. "Mom, I really didn't." Tears uncontrollably fall. I can accept Song Cyan's betrayal and endure Yi Wetel's shamelessness, but unable to face the distrust from family. Song Cyan was also shocked by this incident. His gaze fell on the red fingerprints on my face, and a hint of reluctance flashed in his eyes. "Auntie, I'll send." Before the words could finish, Yi Wetel quickly interrupted. Okay, we're all neighbors, and we can't really turn a blind eye to death. Jingy, please apologize and promise not to interfere with me and Song Cyan. This matter will be over now." My cousin couldn't help but advise me. "What are you still stubborn for? Uncle and aunt are going to be so unfilial and angry by you. Is your face more important than theirs?" Watching my father lying on the ground with his life and death unknown, and my mother collapsing in despair, I closed my eyes and swallowed the blood from my throat. Endure humiliation and speak up. Yi Wetel, right. Before I could finish speaking, a roar came from the end of the alley. The crowded crowd was split open into a path, and the Hummer convoy parked in front of me. With sharp eyes, he recognized the person getting off the car and took a deep breath of air. "How did you bring this evil god over?" Someone stopped in front of me, with a cold voice.